Without his vision, I promise you, there wouldn't be no Hall of Fame Allen Iverson standing at this podium if it wasn't for this guy. He gave me the vision, man. And, you know, you want to be fast like Isaiah, and you want to shoot like Bird, you know, rebound like Barkley, pass like Magic, be dominant like Shaq. But man, I wanted to be like Mike.
Allen Iverson wasn't just a crossover king. He was a cultural icon who changed the game with heart, grit, and raw authenticity. Throughout his Hall of Fame career, Iverson went toe-to-toe with legends. He fought for every inch, carried teams on his back, and earned respect from fans and peers alike. But when AI talks about greatness, he doesn't throw names around lightly. In this video, we break down the elite company that Allen Iverson himself calls the greatest basketball players of all time. No politics, no media hype, just real respect from one of the most fearless competitors the league has ever seen. From cold-blooded killers to unstoppable forces, these are the players who, in Iverson's eyes, defined the game. Michael Jordan. For Allen Iverson, there is no debate. Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player of all time, not because the media says so, not because of the 6 rings, but because of what Iverson saw with his own eyes. Growing up in Virginia, Iverson didn't just admire Jordan. He studied him, the way he moved, the intensity he brought, the confidence he exuded on every possession. MJ was more than a player to Iverson. He was the standard. When AI finally made it to the league in 1996, he was a 6-foot guard who many said was too small, too wild, too street. But none of that mattered to him, because in his mind, if Michael Jordan could dominate with will and skill, so could he. Their first matchup came in 1997, and it instantly became legendary. Iverson hit Jordan with one of the coldest crossovers in NBA history, freezing the GOAT with a move that's been replayed a million times. But for Iverson, that moment wasn't about showing up Jordan. It was about belonging. Later, Iverson said, "I wanted to be like Mike. I wanted to be just like Mike. It's just that my path was different." That crossover wasn't disrespect. It was reverence. Iverson has always made it clear Jordan was the player he respected the most, the one who carried the game through the 90s, and the one whose mindset he tried to emulate. It wasn't about stats. It was about that relentless, obsessive drive to win, the dog that AI always admired. When asked who the greatest is, Iverson doesn't hesitate. Mike's the GOAT, period. Nobody scared people like Mike. Nobody competed like Mike. Even when comparing other greats like Kobe or LeBron, Iverson always circles back to Jordan, because to him, greatness isn't just numbers. It's fearlessness, dominance, and aura. And nobody, in Iverson's eyes, owned the court like Michael Jordan.
I wish I could take a magic pill, put on shorts, and go out and play the game of basketball today, because that's who I am. That's that type of competition, that type of competitiveness is what I live for, and I miss it. I miss that aspect of playing the game of basketball, being able to challenge myself against what people see as great basketball.
Kobe Bryant. If there was one player Allen Iverson had the hardest time going to war against, it was Kobe Bryant. Iverson and Kobe weren't just opponents. They were competitors cut from the same cloth, fearless, obsessed with winning, and built to carry the weight of entire franchises. But even with all the battles, all the buckets, and all the moments, Iverson has never been shy about how he viewed Kobe. He was the closest thing to Mike. For AI, Kobe wasn't just great. He was different, ruthless, cold, precise. A technician who studied every detail, every move, and every weakness. He was the one guy who never took a playoff, never backed down, and never stopped attacking, even if he was up 20 or down 10. Their most iconic clash came in the 2001 NBA Finals. Iverson's 76ers were massive underdogs against the Lakers dynasty led by Shaq and Kobe. In Game 1, Iverson dropped 48 points and famously stepped over Tyronn Lue. But it was Kobe who had the last word, leading the Lakers to 4 straight wins and the championship. And yet, even in defeat, Iverson had nothing but admiration for Kobe's fire. "He made me get up and play harder," Iverson said. "He made me better." That's what real ones do. Off the court, they had mutual respect. No drama, no ego, just two killers who understood the grind. In later years, Iverson often spoke of how Kobe's work ethic was unmatched, how he'd hear stories of 4 a.m. workouts, relentless film study, and the Mamba mentality that pushed him past pain, past fatigue, past limits. Kobe didn't want to beat you. He wanted to break your will. And for someone like Iverson, who thrived on intensity, that kind of mindset was impossible not to respect. When Kobe passed away in 2020, Iverson was devastated. He wrote with raw emotion, "I'm heartbroken and devastated. I love you forever, Bean. You were the ultimate warrior." For Allen Iverson, Kobe Bryant wasn't just one of the greatest. He was one of the few who could look him in the eye and meet him, step for step, in the fire. The only player who reminded him of Jordan, and the only rival who felt like a brother when it was all over. LeBron James. When LeBron James entered the league in 2003, Allen Iverson had already been crowned MVP, carried a team to the finals, and was the face of a generation. But even as a veteran, AI saw something different in LeBron from the very beginning, a rare mix of size, speed, vision, and control that the NBA had never seen before. Iverson's respect for LeBron has never been about hype. It's been about how he lived up to it year after year. "We've never seen anything like him," Iverson said. "Never. And I don't think we ever will again." That's coming from someone who faced every star of the late 90s and 2000s. Jordan, Kobe, Duncan, Shaq. But LeBron? LeBron was built differently. What stood out to Iverson wasn't just LeBron's scoring or athleticism, it was his IQ and unselfishness. AI, known for putting teams on his back, admired how LeBron could take over a game without even dominating the scoreboard. He made everyone better. He read defenses like a quarterback, dictated tempo, and understood spacing like a coach on the floor. And he did it all while carrying unreal pressure from the moment he was 17 and labeled the chosen one. Iverson once said, he could have folded 1,000 times from all the expectations, but he never did. That takes greatness most people don't even understand. Iverson also praised how LeBron evolved his game, from the explosive slasher in Cleveland to the all-around wrecking ball in Miami, to the floor general and leader in LA. Each phase of LeBron's career has shown a new layer of greatness. They didn't go head-to-head often. Their careers only overlapped for a few years. But Iverson never needed more than a few games to see it, and over time, that respect only grew. In recent years, when asked to name his top players ever, Iverson has always included LeBron, usually right behind Jordan. Not because of rings, not because of popularity, but because LeBron has done something I values above all else. He gave everything to this game, and he's still doing it. That's what greatness looks like. For Allen Iverson, LeBron James isn't just a superstar. He's a singular talent whose legacy is still being written, and one who's already earned a permanent place on AI's all-time list.
You want me to compare us to them?
No, I want to know where you think, though, that, like, sort of as this team is on its, like...
That's a championship team right there. We're not. So, I don't understand.
What are the biggest things you think that are keeping this team as right now?
We can't sustain energy and effort for 48 minutes. And they can. That's why they won a championship.
Magic Johnson. Before Allen Iverson ever hit an NBA floor, before the crossovers, the braids, or the swagger, he was a kid watching tapes of Magic Johnson. And what he saw wasn't just basketball. It was creativity, joy, and genius on display. To Iverson, Magic was magic. A 6'9" point guard who could see things nobody else could, who passed with flair, led with charisma, and won with class. Magic didn't just run the offense. He orchestrated it like a maestro with a basketball. He made passing look cool, Iverson once said. That made me want to be a point guard. That's no small compliment. For a player like Iverson, known for his scoring speed and attacking mindset, to name Magic among his greatest ever says a lot. Because Magic's game was never about dominance through scoring. It was about vision, rhythm, and elevating everyone around him. Iverson admired how Magic could take control of a game without taking a single shot. A no-look bounce pass in traffic, a full-court dish in stride, a calm presence in the biggest moments. To AI, that was real power, and it inspired him to play the point guard position with his own flavor of flash. Even though their styles couldn't have looked more different, Magic with a smile, Iverson with a scowl, the philosophy was the same. Put on a show and bring your team with you. Iverson often says Magic was one of the few legends who had everything: the rings, the numbers, the leadership, and the legacy. But beyond that, what stood out to him most was Magic's joy. The way he made the game fun, not just for himself, but for everyone watching. And while they never played against each other, Iverson has always made sure to give Magic his flowers. When talking about the greatest point guards of all time, AI never puts himself at the top. He puts Magic there. He was doing things we'd never seen from someone that size. He made me love this game. For Allen Iverson, Magic Johnson wasn't just a legend. He was a foundation, a reason to believe that a guard could lead, could shine, and could own the spotlight in a big man's league.
First ever time ever talking trash. So we're with the dream team.
Okay.
And for 3 days in a row, we had came into a tie because what Coach Daly did, he split the team up East versus West. So Barkley, Jordan, Larry Bird, Pippen, and Patrick Ewing all played in the East.
Wow.
And then we had the West guys, myself, David Robinson, Malone, Mullen, Drexler, and John Stockton. So we would play every day, tie. So
Larry Bird. When you think of Allen Iverson, you think of speed, energy, emotion, and flair. When you think of Larry Bird, you think of calm, cold calculation. A quiet killer who let his game speak volumes. And that's exactly why Iverson respected him so much. Iverson never played against Bird. Bird retired in 1992, just 4 years before AI entered the league. But growing up a student of the game, Iverson watched Bird's tapes, heard the stories, and more importantly, felt his legacy in every gym he stepped into. What made Bird great to Iverson wasn't just the stats, it was how he got them. Larry wasn't the fastest or most athletic, but he'd still give you 40 and tell you how he was going to do it, Iverson once said. Iverson respected Bird's fearlessness, not the loud kind, but the quiet, ruthless kind. The kind where you didn't need to talk, because your jumper, your footwork, and your basketball IQ said it all. Bird was a 3-time MVP, a finals MVP, and a guy who consistently outthought and out-toughed players who had every physical advantage over him. To Iverson, that kind of mental dominance, that ability to win before the ball even left your hands, was the mark of true greatness. AI always gravitated toward players who played with heart, who weren't afraid of the moment. Bird was all of that. He wanted the ball when the lights were brightest. He didn't flinch, didn't fold, and didn't care who was guarding him. He was one of those dudes who made you pay attention. You couldn't ignore Larry Bird, Iverson said. Even though Bird played in an era with less flash, Iverson saw the substance, and that's what earned his respect. For AI, greatness isn't just about highlights. It's about consistency, competitiveness, and a will to win. And Larry Bird embodied all of that, wrapped in a stoic expression and a deadly jumper. He might not have been the loudest in the room, but in Iverson's eyes, Larry Bird's game did all the talking. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. In a game filled with high flyers and highlight reels, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar did it differently, and Allen Iverson respected that deeply. Kareem didn't dunk over you. He didn't flex after baskets. He didn't bark in your face. What he did was far more devastating. He dominated you with precision, grace, and consistency for 2 entire decades. To Iverson, Kareem's greatness wasn't loud, but it was undeniable. He's the leading scorer in NBA history, man, and they don't talk about him enough, Iverson once said. And that's the thing. AI has always looked out for the overlooked, the disrespected, and in his eyes, Kareem deserved way more praise than he ever got. Kareem's signature skyhook, a shot nobody ever figured out how to stop, was the epitome of technical excellence. He didn't need to overpower you. He just played smarter, quieter, and better than almost anyone who ever stepped on the court. Iverson admired that level of efficiency and maturity because he knew how hard it was to stay locked in night after night, year after year. Kareem played 20 seasons. He won 6 championships. He claimed 6 MVPs, and he scored more points than anyone in league history, until LeBron finally passed him in 2023. But what stood out to Iverson was Kareem's presence, the way he carried himself with dignity, intellect, and self-control, in a league that didn't always respect those things. Kareem wasn't just a dominant athlete, he was a thinker, a man of principle, and a trailblazer both on and off the court. Iverson, who always wore his emotions on his sleeve, respected Kareem's restraint, the way he let his game speak louder than any quote or celebration. And for all the flash AI brought to the league, he always made it clear that substance matters most. And no one had more substance than Kareem. He's one of the real GOATs, Iverson said. People better not forget what he did. And as far as Iverson's all-time list goes, Kareem is etched in stone.
Popsicles when I want to think about learning the game uptown when I was a kid, and ice cream when I want to, get emotional about watching the movie Titanic.